Elizabeth Cady Stanton, a suffragist, social activist, and abolitionist, is best known for her work in the women's rights movement, a movement that helped push for the 19th Amendment. Stanton's upbringing as a daughter to a lawyer and her visits to the house of her cousin, reformer Gerrit Smith, all led her to want to change the domestic lifestyle that women lived during this period. Her first experience in protesting for women's rights was at the World Anti-Slavery Convention, as she wasn't allowed to listen in to what was being said since she was a woman. There was where she met Lucretta Mott, an active and leading suffragist at the time. In July 1848, Stanton, with the help of Lucretta Mott and several other women, held the famous Seneca Falls Convention, which was the first ever women's rights convention, where as many as 200 women gathered to listen. It was at this convention that the Declaration of Sentiments, drafted by Stanton, was introduced. This declaration was modeled closely after the Declaration of Independence and went into great detail the grievances that women had faced. During the 1850s, Stanton had met Susan B. Anthony through her suffragist work, and together, the two created many projects in the name of women's rights.
It was in 1868 that Anthony and Stanton published a weekly newspaper called The Revolution. The paper discussed many topics that weren't normally discussed in everyday newspapers, such as sex education, rape, domestic violence, divorce, prostitution, and reproductive rights. This paper helped to attract many working-class women to their cause by preaching on topics such as unionization and discrimination against female workers. The two then formed the National Women's Suffrage Association in 1869, to which Stanton became the National Women's Suffrage Association's first president. Stanton and Anthony continued to work together on the first 3 volumes of The History of Women's Suffrage in 1881, which thoroughly discussed the history of the women's rights movement. It was later in Stanton's life that she called to question the role that the religion and the Bible played on women's rights. She viewed Christianity to be sexist and didn't like how Bible verses would be used against her to counteract their reasons for publishing women's rights. She helped to publish a critique against the Bible called The Woman's Bible to express the impact Christianity had on women's throughout history. With the help of many other civil rights activists, Elizabeth Cady Stanton went against every degradation as well as the unlawfulness of the situation faced by women during this time, and for that she is and will remain to be an important figure in today's society.